photographers. I hope you like wide-angle images. This is the 7Artisans full-frame 10mm Z-mount f2.8 lens. 7Artisans thought you might like to see it, so they sent me one to review. As is usually the case with products shipped from Asia, the cost of return shipping means it's simpler for 7Artisans to let me keep the lens. However, I promise to be honest with you, and 7Artisans has not provided talking points for me to include, nor did they review the script or video before posting. Now, I've been using this lens with the Nikon Z7II, so we're going to be able to see every detail with 45 megapixel images. Now, the 10mm is a substantial piece of kit, 10 centimeters, 575 grams, looks and feels solid. That kind of weight says metal and glass, not plastic. And 10 millimeters for a full 35 millimeter frame provides a field of view just under 180 degrees. That is, as you can see from the sample images, wide. Very wide. If it's any wider, you'd be seeing my shoes at the bottom of the frame. The defined travel linear focus ring, 1/3 turn from 17 centimeters to infinity, turns smoothly, but with the right amount of friction. It's the ring closest to the body, and all the focus action is internal to the lens, a benefit if you're using it on a gimbal, as the weight doesn't shift. Now, the aperture ring is marked, but not click detented, from f2.8 to f22. A smooth transitioning iris is preferable for video, but for stills, I'd prefer click stops, partly so I know I'm turning the aperture ring. This is a fisheye lens. It bubbles up and has no thread for filter mounting. That's a disadvantage, particularly for video, as it means you can't use an ND filter, which will limit your aperture settings for exterior sunlit scenes. The flare hood is integrated, front and back caps are included, along with an attractive padded case. A nice touch. Now, clearly, it's not a Nikon-designed lens, but it does match the style of the Z series in a slightly retro way. And as you may have guessed, this is not a CPU lens. That means the camera can't control either the aperture or the focus. In auto mode, the camera will complain, but it works fine in program, shutter, aperture, and manual modes. However, once this lens is mounted, the camera only supports aperture priority or manual exposure mode. You set the aperture manually, which, as I typically shoot the majority of images in aperture priority, it doesn't faze me much. However, the camera doesn't know the setting, so you won't see it in the viewfinder, on the top panel status, or on screen. And I did have to build a little muscle memory to remember which ring to adjust for aperture, as it's typically the ring closest to the body. Using manual mode with auto ISO actually provides a nearly ideal scenario, as you retain control over both shutter and aperture while the camera sets the exposure using ISO. Manual focus makes it a little more complicated. Of course, Nikon's manual focus assists punch-in for an expanded view as well as peaking are helpful. But let me show you the depth of field here. With the aperture opened at f2.8, the Calla lilies are at the closest focus distance, about 20 centimeters. The background is fully defocused. And opening the iris to f5.6 and then f11 reduces the background blur that's expected. Now back to f2.8, with the lilies at 60 centimeters, the background blur is much less than at 20 centimeters. Opening the aperture to f5.6 and then f11 really extends the focus field, nearly all the way to the back of the yard. Now, in practice, that means with the focus distance at about 1 meter and an aperture of f5.6, just about everything's in focus. And if you'd like to be hands-off, that's my recommended setting. With aperture priority, setting the shutter, and auto ISO, those are the settings used for the majority of images in this review. Many, but not all, images display some corner vignetting, and if we go in for a closer look deep in the corners, there's a loss of detail and color saturation. These are the trade-offs as the field of view approaches 180 degrees. A slight crop will clean those up if needed. All wide-angle lenses have some barrel distortion, often called fisheye. Objects in the center of the image seem closer, and the rest of the image bends away as if it's wrapped around a barrel. The challenge with a very wide angle is to compose the shot to minimize the distortion, or to use the effect for your creative purpose. In video, I like the way the wall flattens as I move back. And the way the wall bends as I pass by. I'm only a couple of centimeters away. Wider lenses typically stretch objects as they reach the edges. If I let the cyclist pass beside me, there's a little stretch as they reach the edge of the frame. But if I let them pass left to right, the bend in this straight path is quite dramatic. As you see, I found it useful for both stills and video, particularly on a gimbal. This clearly can't be your only lens, but it is an interesting addition to my kit. The 7Artisans 10mm is also available for E, R, and L mounts. As always, feel free to post your relevant questions and your civil comments. If you enjoy my videos, it'd be great if you'd become a subscriber. A quick click on the button below does it. And this channel is not sponsored. I won't stop in the middle to read you an ad, nor do I allow YouTube to interrupt my videos with mid-roll ads. That has a financial impact, so I'm very grateful to those of you who've decided to support this channel by becoming a member. Gently tap the join button below. And subscribers need not worry, no content will be behind a paywall. And please, choose the option that feels right for you. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and go wide.